Here's Jordan's. Jordan's orange 15s. Those are getting built this weekend. So some of the comments about George Wood, those were interesting. I certainly didn't post the video for your sympathy. It's not what I wanted. I just simply wanted to show you some of the interactions that I have with people that are less than glamorous. So as far as George goes, I will not be berated and humiliated in front of my wife just because you're mad. So, but I gave him the benefit of the doubt, and I gave him an opportunity for a free upgrade. He turned it down. And then I gave him an opportunity for a paid upgrade, and he did not perform his end. I even offered for him to piss the $100 on me, and he did not. So, and then he offered me some Zelle, Nazi money, which, whatever. I'm not going to take your Nazi money. So, and then I offered him the opportunity to leave, and he refused. So, if you think George was somehow, or, whatever, if you think I was wrong, that's fine. Please leave your comment and let me know what kind of outcome or what kind of thing I should have done in order to let this guy know that he cannot abuse me, and that I gave him ample opportunity for compensation, and he refused. So, but I don't really want to talk about that anymore. It's kind of sad when you really think about it. Plus, it's funny how people look at the series of videos and think that I'm somehow coming undone. I'm like, no. This is over a period of time. That was back in February. So that video, but I don't know. It's weird. Like, I don't want to be abused and berated. That's weird, huh? Yeah. I know in a lot of jobs, that's your job, is to, take it in the keister, and that's what they're paying you for. And that's one of the reasons why I knew that I could do better, right? Every time I was at a job and I was told to just suck it up and, take it, it just ate at me. And I was like, you know what? I can do better. And then finally, when I got my opportunity in 2003, that's when I went, as I quite often say, I went balls deep in that AIDS butthole. So, and I didn't even charge up all my credit cards. I just charged up like $5,000 for the Orion auction. Now that year, I did spend another probably 12 to 20 buying up stashes around the valley of people, that basically bit off more than they can chew. And I was like, I'm going to show them I can buy it off way more than I can chew. And now I have an ocean of speaker parts. So that's how that works. But some of the other comments were, use your Zen. I'm like, what does Zen look like? Yeah, and that was interesting too. Somebody had also commented about, for running a church, you seem quite angry. I was like, well, right now it's kind of weird because everybody's still broke except for people on Wall Street, right? So there's like a whole portion of us that are not rich, and the economy is still not doing better. So a lot of us have rent debts, and we will be getting evicted here pretty quick because they just there was a judge that revoked the moratorium. So that'll be interesting. So personally, I'm all about independence, right? It's not even that, you can't depend on somebody else. It's just that I don't want to depend on somebody else, whether that be for electricity or other things. I just think there should be a backup. Again, maybe I was scarred by Mad Max, Road Warrior, and Red Dawn as a kid. I don't know. I just, those images keep popping up in my mind about, how fragile the whole system is, and how Um, I, it's weird. It's like critical and important, but in the end, it's not really that important. So my wife had asked me about. She's like, "Oh, did you see the thing with Caitlyn Jenner?" I was like, "Yeah, she's an idiot." But I was like, and a bad driver. But you know, if you ever watch the Kardashian show, you can see that she's quite the idiot and very arrogant and very just sort of, you know, wants attention and so. But if you haven't learned, Caitlyn Jenner, formerly Bruce Jenner, came out wanting to run for the governor of California, and also that trans kids shouldn't participate, or trans girls should not participate in girls' sports. So, you know, there's I forget the name of the proverb. It was an old Jewish proverb that talks about, you know, if somebody really puts your feet to the fire and makes you want, you know, demands a decision out of you, or that you're even in some sort of dilemma, you know, between one thing or another. It's always good to step back and ask yourself, do I even need this? Do I even want this? Is this even important? And I quite often think about my favorite president, quote, President Underwood, that says, if you don't like the cards you've been dealt, you can always flip the card table over, right? So you got to ask yourself, why are there even sports? Why are sports important, right? And so then, you know, you can get into the arguments of fitness and health and what's the word? Positive mental attitude and, you know, self-esteem and those sorts of things. That's fine. But you know what? If you search YouTube, there's like a zillion videos of parents losing their fucking brains over some sports call or sports event for their children, or even just regular sports in general. And then if you ever want to see coaches lose, just type in coach loses temper. Yeah, why are sports important? I have no fucking idea. Sports do nothing for us. Nothing. You go, well, it's entertainment. Well, no, there's actually a thing called entertainment where it's actual entertainment. But you know, that's fine. Let's go with that theory of that it's entertainment. That's a very expensive form of entertainment. You know, when you look at the overall costs of production, right? You can't just have a football game, right? You got to have a whole league, and every important state's got to have their own team. In fact, some states have two teams. I'm sure a state like New York that's really important has three teams of some sport or whatever. You know, California has, I think, 3 basketball teams. Again, this is a lot of fucking people to pay. And so it's this ridiculous thing about, okay, so somebody can run fast. How does that make your life better? How does that make the world better? Right? Somebody's good at gymnastics. That certainly won't make you any money unless you're on a fucking Wheaties box. For the rest of the gymnasts that are not on a Wheaties box, that's just a sad day at the Olympics. And then you go, well, no, they could be in the Olympics. And it's like, what's the point of fucking that? Nobody watches the Olympics because it's dumb. Like, again, and then they're trying to put in all kinds of weird sports. I think they put in the horse riding one. Like, you know how rich you have to be in order to just fucking own a horse or even ride a horse? Like, that's insane. And that, you know, now we're going to watch that on television. You know, I don't understand why people even watch golf. Like, what are you doing? You know, and it's heavily edited, you know, and then they go, well, this guy sunk a putter or whatever. It's hole in one, you know, and it's like, it's the dumbest thing. I just don't understand it. Now, I'm not saying I don't like sports. In high school, I loved sports. I loved participating. The only downside was, you know, when they made us be shirts and skins, I was typically skins. And when I'd go up for a rebound, I would slime somebody because us Chandlers, we like to sweat. And a couple of guys did not like that. And they, I don't know. Yeah, it was actually just black guys. Black guys did not like that. So, but I don't understand, you know, maybe I'm just too confident, right? Maybe it's a perception thing. I would love feedback from the black community, whatever that is, as to why I seem to rub black men the wrong way. That sounded gay and perverted. I mean, which is right up my alley, but still. I would love feedback to find out how I can do better, right? In getting along with people. I think I get along with people. I try to treat people as if they're me, as if that I treat people the way that I want to be treated. But it doesn't seem to go over very well sometimes. So the thing with Richard yesterday, no drama. Richard was very fine. Did not call me a cracker or pasty face or anything like that. His girl, took the sub, was cordial. It's fine. Everything was fine. So, maybe Richard was just having a bad text day or something, or I'm guessing everybody's on drugs now. So of course I don't, that's rude to assume that, like, you're on drugs, as if it's a bad thing. And, some people just have to cope that way, I guess. But, I don't know. I have no idea. I have no clue. I just know that I do not appreciate or need to put up with people's abuse. And so, I'm just assertive that way. If that's some sort of privilege, that's fine. I don't really care. I feel very grateful every day. And even as a joke, I say, I'm grateful I'm a white man in America. Like, it doesn't get any fucking better than that. Should I, as I forget what's her name in the BLM, she was like, white people need to give us their houses. I was like, okay. All right, let's reel it back in. I don't think that's the way to go. I think somebody like Morgan Freeman said it best, which was that he says, as soon as you stop calling black people black and white people white, then maybe we can just be people. Now, of course, the difference between men and women is always going to be there, but that's an old joke. But I don't know. I don't know the answers. I just know that I like woofers. I'm good at it. I give people good deals, and I try to do my best with what I got. Right? Some people are like, oh, there's right there. See, there's a mark. It's not perfect. And so then I use that opportunity to say, well, life's not perfect. If you take any woofer off a production line, you're going to find a flaw. Whether or not you look for it or whether or not you get obsessed about it is up to you, and is up to your whether or not you let your OCD in the driver's seat. That's up to you. So, but what else? Sports are terrible. What else do I want to talk about? Devil's Jizz. So Devil's Jizz is the epoxy that I use. So it ends up being this nice high gloss finish. This is Bobby's, by the way. Bobby is he in Louisiana? So this is his woofer. I just got to put it together. So it's I'm selling it for super cheap, which is you get 60 cc's, right, which is a cubic centimeter of total of epoxy, and you mix it 1-to-1. And I include mixing cups and the fat stirring sticks. I usually include extras so that you can have the fat sticks for cleaning the gap. And let's see what else. Oh, and extra syringes for application. So now what I do is let me see. So what I do is I have this old Gonzo 6.5-inch mid that somebody dropped and it shifted. I put this in there like that to hold it. So I don't know if I ever showed a video of this, but and then what I do is I keep 2 syringes here for drawing, so I can draw out accurate amounts. I keep usually one on this is a coffee warmer that I got for $1 at Goodwill. You got to stir it, just mostly because you want to make sure the consistency is good. But let's see. want to make sure there's no sticky ickies at the bottom, and I just make sure that's all mixed up. And then so you get 1 part this, and typically I make batches in 50 cc's. So I'll do 25 and 25. And that ends up almost filling a little, what is this, a 3-ounce cup? Yeah, this is a 3-ounce cup you get from Walmart. Get the Walmart brand, by the way. It's really super cheap. Sometimes you can't find them online. Or wait, is it? No, you can't find them in the store, and you have to order them on their website. So, but White Connor came in and paid for, I think his name's Ty. I forget. Anyways, that's his subwoofer. I gotta put the cone on, and that's it. What else? This is Bobby's. This is Bobby's. Just got to put the cone on it and then test it and then take it apart. I think that was it. Oh, Curtis's motor is zapped and ready to go. Although Anthony Ocker in California, who basically got a version of this, fried his already. So I just think that sometimes people get excited and then they think the woofer is magic and can do more than it can. So I would love to see somebody speak out about woofers blowing other than me, because you guys, a lot of guys think, I don't want to say everybody, but a lot of guys think that, you know, I have a vested interest in defending that subwoofers should not blow. Well, science kind of has my back on that, because when the coil is burned, how did it get burned? I didn't burn it. I certainly didn't give it to you non-working. You know, I test every woofer I make, and I sort of beat it up as I'm testing it to make sure that, you know, it can take some abuse. It can't take all your abuse. So the example that I gave Anthony was like, you know, if you abuse and beat up 9 girlfriends and then the 10th one calls the cops on you, you know, don't get mad, you know, like you've been using girlfriends wrong. So, I got the paint in. This is for, I just forgot his last, Span, Mr. Span. This is for his Neo columns. So some of these did fine. I put the steel on these epoxy, so all I got to do is clean this up today, get the debris off. I'll just use a spinning wire brush, this guy, wire wheel. This one decided to slip off, but I'll just pull that one off and then redo it. But 5 out of 6 ain't bad, and then we'll paint them this cool. This is what the frame ends up looking like. So it'll be matching that, and then it's on a black background, T-yoke right there, this guy. Squishing your T-yoke. That will be for Mr. Span. As far as powder coat, I don't know what's going on. This is kind of bugging me. Juan of Powder House, I don't know. He's not returning my calls. So I got to do something to get those frames and finish this one. This one's Tony's. Tony Baloney. See, Tony? It says Tony. That's yours. Just waiting there, waiting to be finished. And it's not. So, oh, that was the other one. This one right there. This one. Oh, I just forgot your name. I'm so sorry. This one took a little bit because he needed the tall surrounds. He's going to get this, the SPL. This one's a little different. I had to order. I had 2 mismatched cones, and I didn't want to give him 2 mismatched cones. So I had to order some, and I finally got them. And then also, it wasn't until too late that he told me that the 2 that he bought off, I think, Chubbs or somebody, they have 3-inch coils. I was going to give him 4-inch coils, but I'm like, we got to make these match. Now, cosmetically, they're not going to match, but performance-wise, they will. So they will have the same parts, same cone, same look. And so to me, I'm like, that's good enough. So, but I love it. Who was that guy? Somebody was You want to keep selling woofers with rust on them? Like, yeah, so what? Like, that's why they're discounted. That's why I don't mind giving them to you for half price. Call them used woofers with a 3-year warranty. That's fine. I don't care. If you don't like it, don't buy it. Obviously, I'm doing something right? So, I want to go get more of these today. Somebody was asking, why are you so excited about getting more dead woofers? Well, because these look really nice. I like these a lot. I think we're actually going to cover the caps though, with bigger caps that are blank. Maybe put some like a white robot decal on them. These are from Robati and Sons, by the way. This is the Majestic. So I found these two. These were, I was like, I think I got 6 at $20 each, and 2 of them worked. So I'm like, maybe it's time to go back and get some more. So sometimes you find good treasures. I remember the first time, the first big dumpster dive that I got was behind the original PPI. Well, actually, it wasn't the original. It was like when they were doing Power Class right before they got bought by, this was probably 99. They probably, right before they got bought by ADST. And I had known the accountant for ADST, and she was like, hey, we bought PPI and they're clearing out their building. You might want to go check out their dumpster. Sure did. And it was that the C3 woofers, the Chinese. That was their first venture into the Chinese woofer. And lo and behold, there was like, I brought home, God, it was like probably this area of my garage. And it was like just stacked. It was fucking rad. And I went through them, and some of them were just little fixes, like a terminal or something like that. Other ones were dead. And I ended up throwing those away. And I regret that, but whatever. I didn't have any parts at the time, and I didn't really know what the fuck I was doing. And then I went to the swap meet, and I made $1,500 in like 2 hours. So what happened was one of the local vendors was like, why am I not getting any traffic? It's because everybody's at my fucking place buying woofers for $20 each. And then he came over and he's like, I'll give you $10 each if I take them all. I was like, okay. And then that was the day. So, but there are opportunities like that for you all over the place. This is the, what do we call this one? The Cylon. This technically would be the Cylon Junior, because this is the Gonzo Sunfire motor, triple stack, which I'm, I think almost out of. I think Danny C in California just bought the last 2 to make some 10s out of, which are fucking nuts. Just to finish off, like I said, Richard was actually pretty cordial. He didn't talk to me at all, but the woofers that I got back, this is the double stack I told you about, and this is the triple stack. So again, and see, even the terminals don't even match. This is the Rockford power terminal. This is the regular 4-gauge terminal. My bad. Sorry. Sometimes, I do stuff and I'm not paying attention. Sorry. I apologize. But I hope that the discounts make up for it, and the warranty. So as long as you're not a butthole, yeah, of course I want to help you. Of course. I'm Mr. Zen guy. I love you. I love everybody. Until you're abusive. Then I'm like, I got a pretty good dose of that as a kid, man. I was telling Sherry the other day, there was a moment when I was a kid, there was a big dust storm. Stop me if I've told this before. But there was a big dust storm when I was a kid, which was, a pretty big event. They call them haboobs now, but we didn't know that back then. And I used to pretend that I was on Mars, on some sort of colony. Well, that's a gross fucker. So I used to pretend that I was on some sort of colony on Mars, because the sky would just get red, and it was just this big dust storm. And the next day in the yard, I had found a $10 bill. So, and I was probably six years old, and I was so excited. And that's the other thing. Let your kids participate in the chores and the responsibilities of the household. They want to be part. They want to be Alan Watts talks about this a lot. about that you never let the kid be a part of the tribe, a part of the community. You never let him be a real human being. And they're always chasing this thing that eventually they say, if you just do this, then you'll be accepted. If you just do this, then you'll be accepted. And then they go through all the steps and they're still not accepted. So it's kind of a weird, chasing the dragon sort of situation that we have in our society. And a lot of that is the public schooling system and just indoctrination of keeping everyone poor and in line. Like it's more important to show up on time and shut up than it is to learn something. But so anyways, back to Crazy Lenny. So I found the $10. I ran inside and showed my mom the $10, and I was like, can I buy some milk with it? Because she was always bitching that we were drinking too much milk. And I don't blame her for the fucking 5 kids and truck driver salary. Like things are going to be thin. So probably one of the only best things is that I think I told you that story about my parents buying a chunk of land in Fountain Hills, and they sold it, and then they used that money to buy and build 2 lots. My dad did that at our old house that I grew up in. Him and the neighbor both they went in on 3 lots together, and then what they did was they split one of the lots so that way their lot was bigger than most people in the neighborhood, which was just kind of a nice thing to have, and obviously he could afford it, so he did it. But I went in and showed my mom the $10, and she just like went weird. She went nuts. She was like super mean. She grabbed it. She was like, like that's mine or whatever. And it just was like, and after that it was, I really thought that people or aliens had taken my mother and replaced her with some sort of angry robot or something. So, but turns out that was the day that I found out my mom was borderline personality disorder, and also was probably suffering through some postpartum from my brother. And it probably didn't help that my dad was on the road banging whores and things like that, and she was at home with the kids trying to be a good Mormon. So I don't know. So, but well, I don't even remember where I was going with that story, but I was telling Sherry about that the other day, about how I think it's just that that's what I was trying to get to, was that as parents, you don't expose your kids to a lot of the truth because you're trying to protect them, and sometimes you slip up, right? Like when your kids walk in on you having sex or something like that, like uh-oh. Mommy and Daddy, I watched Gal Gadot the other day on Jimmy Kimmel talk about how she was trying to explain to her kids that, Mommy and Daddy gave a big hug. Like, that's how we made that's how the baby got in the tummy, and it's just silly. It's like, just sit them down and, I love that moment in Kindergarten Cop when the kid's like, boys have a penis and girls have a vagina. Like, it's like, tell them, fine. It's hilarious. Like that, tell them the facts. You don't need to hide it. But we do in our society, and we have all kinds of euphemisms. And is it euphemisms? Euphemisms. I don't know. For things that we probably should not have, and we need to talk about them. We need to talk about mental illness in this country. That give that option of sterilization to somebody. Sherry and I were talking about her mom, who was. Again, she was probably mentally ill, and the dad, it's funny, Sherry was telling a story to me about that she went to her dad one day, and her baby sister was probably about 11, and she said, Dad, I think you should really have the talk with Lana about boys. And he's like, oh, that was random. Said, Dad, you should really have the talk with Lana about boys. And he's like, no, why would I do this? She's like, well, she's getting curious. She's like 11. And so, this is probably a good time to do that. And the dad did not want to. Her dad did not want to. And so Sherry confessed to him. She's like, well, I had sex when I was 16. And then he was immediately like, well, shame on you and this and that, which is hilarious because he one time revealed that the whole reason why he met her mother was because he heard that the mom, Marlene, she put out that she was kind of easy, and she was an easy lay, and that's why they went over there prowling around in high school. It's the most ridiculous thing. Like, just talk to your kids about this shit. Just treat them like little adults until they're not little adults, and then put them in the corner, whatever, and then that's over and you're done. So, but anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and start the day. I love you guys. I love everybody. I wish the best for everyone. I think there's room for everyone on this planet. Elon Musk doesn't think so, and that's why we need to go to Mars. But that will be, something in the future. I made a post last night of the video that I was very inspired by. And for me, I realized my Starlink idea, Starlink Studios, is a cooperational idea where star production companies will be able to get together and have a better chunk of the distribution money than they're getting now. And so that will attract them, and Starlink will offer its own content, which is what I think the future is. And especially what the guy predicted in the video was that this is going to change governments. And I hope, my hope about all this technology and about all these advancements is that our governments will become so transparent that it will become boring, and that because there's not able to be any corruption in it. People will serve because it's the right thing to do, because they want their community to be good, not because they want to, line their pockets and, enrich their family and their friends, right? Why do people want to get into politics, right? Why is it so expensive to run a campaign? And all that corruption is right there on the table in front of you. You just got to look at it and, call it something else than what it is. That was the last thing. I'll close with this. Somebody was asking, they're like, well, what I really want to do is start a business, but you're saying start a church. And I'm saying, well, there's a lot more rights and benefits in starting a church than there is in starting a business. A business is not something that benefits the community. They provide a service, but if they really want to benefit the community, they'll actually charge less. But they don't. And then often if you're an out-of-towner, they charge more. It's this weird thing. But again, what do I know? I'm just some jerk in his garage building woofers, hoping that maybe you'll listen to me preach and go on about stuff. But am I a liar? Was that my last thing? I had another thought, but I think it's gone. So I'll close with that. I love you guys. I will talk to you later.